I would say right at the outset that we really need to look at climate change and its linkages with a whole range of variables, with a whole range of activities. And therefore the fact that you're looking at air pollution, air quality and climate change is clearly a step in the right direction. It's now abundantly clear that the impacts on climate change on air quality can be quite serious. You must remember that we're already living under conditions of air quality which are harmful for human health. This is true in our towns and cities. It's also true in some of our rural homes where you've got very shabby built space inside which you have biomass being burnt in very inefficient cook stoves, as a result of which you get a very poor quality of air for people to breathe and being exposed to throughout the day. So these are issues that we need to be concerned about. Now, as it happens, climate change does have a major impact on air quality. If you look at the reality, which we have projected very clearly in the IPCC special report on extreme events and disasters, heat waves are going to increase significantly in the future. The impacts of climate change essentially exacerbate existing stresses. And you know that in a number of towns and cities, and even in rural homes, we have people living under conditions of air quality that are clearly harmful for their health. This is the result of a range of factors. In our towns and cities, we have traffic congestion, we have a great deal of combustion which is often taking place out in the open, and certainly in rural homes where biomass is the main source of energy for cooking and heating purposes, you have very badly designed homes, very small spaces in which biomass is burnt, and this leads to excessive amounts of air pollution indoor. And in particular, this is very harmful for the health of women and children and the elderly. Now, with climate change, and particularly, let's say, with the increase in heat waves, all of these conditions are likely to be exacerbated. Now, this is not going to happen uniformly across the globe, but we need to look at specific cases where changes in the climate are also going to affect changes in air quality. So therefore, this is an area for research which has to be localized. In a number of locations, climate change can lead to smog conditions, particulate matter hanging in the air, which is very, very harmful for cardiovascular diseases. So here may I say that if you look at the solution space, then clearly mitigation is going to be extremely important, because mitigation of emissions of greenhouse gases also carries the co-benefit in terms of improvements in air quality. Those actions, by and large, which reduce emissions of greenhouse gases, are also good for reducing the emissions of other pollutants. And when that happens, clearly there are health benefits that will follow for the community that's going to be affected. So it is critically important for us to look at both sides of the issue. Firstly, with climate change, what is going to happen to air quality? And this is an area that we must do much more intensive research in. And on the solution side, I think we should also try to evaluate what the co-benefits will be in terms of improved air quality when we mitigate emissions of greenhouse gases. So I hope these are some of the issues that you're going to discuss in your side event today. But don't leave it at that. My suggestion to you would be that when you find some areas and when you identify specific subjects that need much greater research, please go back to Yale, talk to your professors, launch a few research projects by which you would be wiser, you would gain by way of knowledge, and so would the rest of the world. And remember, Yale is an institution that has a major influence all over the world, and it is you, young people, who are really going to take the lead in carrying this torch to its logical conclusion. So all the best.